So greetings everyone and welcome to Powertime practice here on Saturday, the 30th of December. We're coming to a close of another year. 2017 is almost finished in a day or so. And we want to make the most out of the time that we have. Now, why would we say that 1 or 2 days is a big deal? 1 or 2 days, 1 or 2 seconds is a big deal, because that's where your life could change dramatically. And we've all experienced that when we have what we call miracles happening. So welcome to everyone who's joining for the first time, and welcome to those of you who have been joining from the time of its inception. Powertime practice on Saturdays. We moved over from Sundays, and for those of you who don't know me, my name is Sucharita, and wishing you a warm welcome. It is around -10 here in Toronto, Canada. I'm just looking out the window and there's snow all over the place. I was out yesterday and it had snow. I was like a snowman. So we don't want to be, discouraged by what's happening in our natural environments, and as in the seasons, and also what's naturally happening around us in our lives that we've created. So when we come into, when we come into Powertime practice, we want to put into practice what we're learning here through the teachings that Dr. Pillai is sharing in Pillai Center, Astrovid. Maybe you came through Nambu Botanicals, and or you might have come through Tripura Foundation. So welcome to wherever you have come from, the YouTube even, and maybe a lot of us are coming from the YouTube. So it's important that we understand the teachings are something that we do every day. It's like brushing our teeth. If we don't brush our teeth, then, well, we all know what happens, right? And we can get away with it for a while, but then as we age, we want to make sure that we have good teeth health. So just like our spiritual path, when we jump on a spiritual path, we want to understand why we're doing it. We want to be doing it, but not just doing it randomly and hoping that we get blessings. Yes, we are going to get blessings. Every time you do a meditation, every time you do a prayer, every time you chant a mantra, you do benefit from it. However, how do we know that we're always connecting with the divine? We want to do that naturally. So as we have come from different courses, or maybe even different spiritual teachers' teachings, and we've stumbled across Dr. Pillai's teachings, and something woke up inside of us, something resonates with us. We have a memory of it, perhaps. Maybe in this lifetime, maybe in another lifetime, something inside pings us and says, this is true. This is the truth. This is so natural to me. I can't explain it. I can't talk about it because I don't even know really what's going on, but it's something inside of me is saying, this is true. This is my truth. And so we don't have to go around telling people, oh, my God is better than your God, or I know something that you don't know, because the moment we are in that kind of conversation or dialogue with someone else, then we are in the mind. And when we're in the mind, it's like a jungle. It's like a rat race. It's like, well, we all know it's a mess, right? So if it's not in your mind, it won't matter to you. So if a memory doesn't come to the forefront, it won't matter to you. If someone doesn't say something to you, or you don't say something to someone else, it won't matter. So our thoughts materialize, our thoughts matterize, our thoughts matter. Right? So we want to be very selective about what thoughts are coming to our brain. Our brain is grabbing on to these particles of energy, thinking from the past, the present, the future. People say, well, what do you mean about the future? We're always worried about the future. What's going to happen? Oh my God, there's so much snow out there. Can I get my car out of the driveway? Oh my God, there's so much snow. I hope the power doesn't go out like it did a couple years ago. So many people talk about that. Or there's so many terrible things going on in the world. what do we do about it? So all those things and all those thoughts, so things and thoughts are the same. So we want to just ping them like as if we are, popping bubbles. Because if we pay attention to those thoughts, they may or may not manifest. And if they do manifest, we may or may not like it. So what to do? How do we know? We get into a practice. We get into the practical application of how we are accessing the highest thoughts, the best thoughts for us to manifest or materialize or make matter. If it's not in our mind, it won't matter. So those thoughts that cause worry, anxiety, frustration, sadness, delay, doubt, grief, despondency, total depression. My God, look at our credit cards now, right? Tis the season, not to be so jolly. Our credit cards are just bursting. So we have to do something about that. We can't just pray it away. So we have to tap into that energy source that says, you got to pay attention to what you're doing hereafter, because this is not a good feeling. And you keep repeating it. So there has to be some sort of divine intervention or some sort of power that says, ping, hello, you're just getting out of control here. So we're ending in a year, 2017, and we're starting a new year according to the Gregorian calendar. And 2018 is all about starting fresh. So in numerology, if you add up 2 and 9 is 11, right? So 2 and 0 is 2, and then 1 is 3, and then 3 and 9 is 12, and 1 and 2 is 3. Is that correct? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. So 3 energy, 2 and 1 is 3, and 8 is 11. So we want to have the 2 energy. So 11 is a angelic number, but the 2 energy, 1 and 1 is 2. And so the 2 is all about getting the goddess to come in, getting the goddess energy. So what is the goddess energy? The goddess energy is that Kundalini energy. So if you're on the spiritual path or new to the spiritual path, you may have heard this term before. And don't be too worried about it or have to study it theoretically. We're not into that. We'll give you some intellectual information to satisfy that emotional desire to want to know and understand. However, we want to experience it. So when we're raising this energy from the base of the spine and we're raising it to go up into the brain, it's going to create this halo effect that you see in some depictions with saints or very spiritual beings, highly evolved spiritual beings, and you just want to be around them because they're glowing. And you may be too, after your meditation, or maybe all the time. Maybe you're that type of person where you've been on the spiritual path for a long time and people say, you're glowing all the time. Yeah, it's because this energy within you has been fed and it's grown and grown and grown. And what is that energy? It's your soul. Your soul comes into a body as a baby, and it's only this big, the baby, a handful, a couple handfuls, and the soul is inside that. But then what happens is we grow into this, big adult, and the soul might still just be little. So we want to burst that open. So how we access it is we go into a vortex of time. This is where the Powertime practice comes into play, is there's a vortex of time every day that you can tap into that's behind the scenes. And then those energies that are very high and intelligent, and they can burst any obstacles, or these energies can guide us intuitively. They can whisper in our ear or in our internal body. Maybe our gut feeling really gets activated. And we just know that if we follow that gut, we will manifest. And we know when we don't follow our gut, we just like, oh, I should have followed my gut, right? Or your heart's desire. So we're getting away from our head, the thinking part of it. Our thinking mind it tries to, as Dr. Pillai says, it makes us to be crazy. It makes us to be like we're in the dark, or we're groping in the dark. So we want to access the truth within us. And that truth is the light, and the light is the way for us to navigate our everyday life. And we can't live anyone else's life. We can maybe say, oh, I've been through something, but then everyone has their own experience. And really, when you're talking to someone, even now, as you're listening, what are you listening to? You might be doing your laundry, you might be having breakfast, you might be having lunch or dinner, you might be driving. So we're always sort of half present. You know, we're present to the external, but then it's broken down, and we're, you know, a little bit ADD, a little attention deficit, right? We're here and there, shiny thing, shiny thing. And we don't focus on that which we want to really manifest, or how we want to really manifest is from that internal self, that internal knowing. That is the truth. So when we're listening to the truth, then we will resonate perhaps with something that someone is saying, or something that we see, or something that we perceive ourselves, we observe ourselves, or we're so alert and aware of what it is that we're doing that we just go, don't pull that credit card out of your wallet anymore. Stop it. Stop. Put it on a diet. You know, leave it at home. You don't need it. Seriously. We don't need those cards. They can take a holiday. You can put your cards on a holiday, right? And then just have that consciousness that says, okay, I've got to turn this around now. I've got to focus on manifesting. So this whole year ahead is going to be about manifesting. It's going to be about bringing that truth to the forefront and living that truth. And if you say, well, I don't have enough money because of this, that, and the other thing, then you really got to go to a financial advisor, you know, or someone in your family who can help you to sort out your finances, and that will kick your ego to smithereens, right? And we want to kick that ego, because it is that which is creating so many problems for us. And it's not easy to keep in check, because it says this is the reality, and it keeps, you know, repeating that story over and over. So if you have been scrambling with this, your consciousness in the past year, and you've been seeing your patterns of behavior that have just gotten you into some, you know, strange situations or pretty unfavorable situations, or same old, for it's chronic. It's so chronic that you can't even imagine yourself being out of debt and having a great reality. And let's face it, as Dr. Pillai shares, with the Shri Brazil, we want everybody to have Shri Brazil, because it is the wealth consciousness that the whole planet needs. Everybody on the planet, we all need to have the ability to understand how to create wealth and make it grow. And then not just have wealth as in money in the bank, but wealth, health, happiness, peace, prosperity for all. And you have more than enough for yourself and your family that you can share with anyone who comes to you in need. That's what we need. We need abundance. And if we don't have abundance in our consciousness, we don't build it up, it'll just be a hit and miss. Money will come and go, and we'll be totally frustrated. And then at the end of the life, you say, well, I don't need the money. You can leave the life and give people money, those who need it the most. And that will be really good for your soul. So you don't have to wait till the end of your life. Get your finances in order. This is the way of the world. We have to. Being on the spiritual path doesn't mean it's separate from being in this life. So That's the big message that's coming through today, is to clean the slate. So today is a powerful time to just destroy that karma that we've inherited, maybe from our parents, our grandparents, our ancestors, those who have already gone, and they share our genes, and they maybe have misused money, or they didn't understand how to grow money. They didn't think that money was important, or they thought it was important, but it was more from survival anxiety. So that energy behind money, even if you have a lot of money, you're so worried about it all the time, it's killing you. It's making your health to go down. You don't trust people. What a way to live, right? And conversely, those people on the other end who have no money, they're just living day to day, paycheck to paycheck, or maybe they don't even have a paycheck and they're just struggling. You know, that's a bad reality. We have to crush that. And that's how you do it, because everyone here knows that there's a higher power. We just got to tap into it. And then that higher power will naturally wake up that intelligence at the soul level that says, I can connect with God consciousness, nature, divine beings, you know, Jesus, Shiva, whoever it is for you, Allah, you know, Yahweh. You just know that you're a spiritual being and your soul is so much more powerful than what your ego is. So today is a great day to crush the ego, crush all those tendencies that are coming from the ancestral lineage, coming from your upbringing, coming from your own thinking. Maybe you're not doing anything according to your upbringing. Maybe you've made it, but there's still that anxiety or scarcity consciousness, a poverty consciousness. People who have a lot of money are impoverished. You know, Dr. Pillai had shared that if every billionaire on the planet just gave, I think it's less than 5% of their total wealth, the whole world, everyone in the world could have an amazing, amazing life. We would have heaven on earth. But did they want to do it? No. So that's a different story. But here is the golden age. We're coming into a time where people are evolving very quickly. So it doesn't matter if you're just joining for the first time and you're going, what is she talking about? Trust me, I don't know either. It's just coming through. So the moment you know, the moment you're in there is what I'm saying. So the moment you think that you know something and you're hanging on to that and you're trying to make a point of it, that is the moment where the divine is out. Right? So we have to put into a practice this ability, developing this ability to be centered all the time. So you're centered inside of yourself, even now as you're listening, whether you're on the phone or on video. Just go into the base of your spine and feel some energy moving in the base of your spine. We're not even in full-on meditation yet, but this is how it is in life. We should be able to just navigate in life. If we're standing, we're sitting, we're driving, we're eating, we're doing things, go into that base of your spine, your tailbone, wiggle around till you feel your tailbone. And then you'll feel some movement or some presence there. And it is really a present, it's a gift, because it's what's hidden from us. It's way down from our ability to perceive, from our thinking mind. So you go into the feeling of it and sense or become aware, and then you can ping your brain and say, oh, I get it. So we want to have that heat or some tingling or some pressure down there. You can imagine light pouring down your legs, and there's a color that you can resonate in. It's easy because it's reddish orangish light, kind of like a sunrise or a sunset, just right at that time where the sun is piercing through the sky or the clouds, and it's creating a beautiful reddish orangish light. or you can think of it as fire, you know, the flames of fire, that kind of color, or the color of blood. Everybody has blood in you, so you know what blood looks like. So imagine the blood starting to really expand and be present and pour through your legs, and feel that heat, feel that energy. So that's your Kundalini. That's the goddess energy. The goddess wants to manifest, meaning that feminine energy that wants to create something that is way better than what you can think about. So, and then you push all that energy up with some technology that we're going to go through and experience in a moment. And then as that energy comes up, it's going to activate all these psycho-spiritual centers in our body called chakras. And you don't have to know about them. You can look it up later. But we want them all to spin out anything that is no longer serving us, just like old washing machines. We want to clean up that which is dragging us down. And it's so negative when we don't even know it. We can't even figure it out, but we feel it sometimes, and then we push it down and we repress it, or we stick it in the closet of our mind and lock it away in a safe, you know, a safe place. Not so safe, right? Because down the road, it's going to pop up. So today we're going to crush time-related karmas. So karma, everybody says, what is karma? Oh my God, do I have to become a Hindu to understand karma? No. Karma just means your action, and it's pushing the thoughts that make you to act that's favorable or unfavorable. So it's not about cause and effect so much as it's about empowering yourself to choose those thoughts that are going to manifest a better reality for yourself. So why isn't it happening? I've done all these mantras, I've done these meditations, and then nothing is happening. I've been on a spiritual path for 45 years, or 1 year, or 1 minute, or somewhere in between. Why isn't it happening? Because you're just this little soul. You got to grow it. It has to get fed, and it has to be nurtured, and it has to become what's natural for you. The other stuff, that the physical body, the emotional body, the intellectual body, those are all different layers that are piled on top of this soul that's screaming out and saying, I want to manifest a fabulous reality. But you're just creating all these obstacles and blocks with the way you think, with your history, you know, your memories, you know, the things that you take in. Oh, this is my truth. You're just taking stuff in. Don't make it true until it feels, right? So Saturday, today is a great day to propitiate Lord Saturn, because he's a ruler of Saturday. So his energy will deliver karmas that are no longer useful for you, or that are very useful for you, and you can't grasp onto them because you don't recognize it. So he is a deliverer of karma, and he will make us to slow down and look at what it is that we're doing. So congratulations to everyone who is joining today. You know, you woke up early and you're here to get the message from Lord Saturn. He's going to bring something up as you're doing your meditation practice now, and then later on today when you're doing your mantras or other meditations or whatever it is, prayers that you do, your rituals, he is going to make sure that you see that which you don't want anymore. So he delivers the karma. It can be intense, but he will then, when you're propitiating him, he will take it away. He will just throw it away. You want this? No, throw it away. Right? So you don't have to go, oh my God, Saturn is so terrible. And, you know, the astrologer told me I have a very ill-placed Saturn and so on. Everybody's got Saturn going on. And sometimes it seems like Saturn is good and sometimes it's not so good. So you don't have to get into too much of the astrology aspect. An astrologer helps you to wake up. Wake up to this energy that it may be, if you don't pay attention to it, it's going to affect an area of your life, if not a lot of areas of your life. So you want to empower yourself to get connected to this or align with this energy of Saturn. And then Saturn will give you that ability to focus and persist, persevere, be very patient. Patient doesn't mean waiting. Patience means that you have tremendous compassion. You have so much compassion for yourself, your soul's evolution, your spiritual evolution. He makes you to be really spiritual, Saturn. So why be spiritual? Because you've got to get energy. You've got to get that intelligence that is way more powerful than your thinking, right? Because your thinking is only going to be a ration of what it's going to be from your rational mind. So it's only a ration of what is possible. And then that is ego driven and it's edging God out and so on. So you want Saturn to really focus you. So right now, as you're listening, are you focusing on your internal self? So that have you made that connection with the pelvic area, the tailbone area, energy moving through, reddish orangish light pouring down your legs all the way into your toes. Nobody should have freezing toes right now, you know, or really hot toes. You're just going to be having this feeling, this sensation of cleansing, and then coming into a more focused point of your awareness is a thin tube of light that arises from your spine and it goes all the way up. So it's going in, coming up through the backbone. And so this very thin, it's like a hair. You know, if you take one of your hair strands, and that's how thin it is. So you have, Saturn will make you to really focus and get your attention on that. And then that will expand tremendously because that's your antenna, your spiritual antenna that will grasp onto higher evolved beings or consciousness or intelligence that is everything. It's what everyone wants. They want to get out of this lower vibrating negative force field that surrounds us and bombards us, and it's everybody else's fault, right? Why our life is the way it is. That may be true, it may not be true, but it's only partial. If it's really true, truth will set you free, right? So the truth is, you grab onto those miserable, crazy ways of being. You can't help yourself. You just want to be in the drama of life. But then there will come a time where you're just like, I'm done. I'm tired. I want to change the channel. And it's as easy as that. Because if you think of the thin tube of light that arises from the base of the spine and goes all the way up, or you can think of it this way, when you bring your hands together and you come into the middle, and then you put your head down and you're bowing and you're touching that third eye area, the spot between your two eyebrows, the portal that opens up, and that is what makes you to be receptive to energies coming from the heavens. And then those energies will, as they say in the scriptures, doesn't matter what religion you follow or tradition, they will say something lights up in the brain, and then you could get that halo. So it's not because you're a saint and you're goody two-shoes, because saints are sinners who never gave up. That's what I read. I love that. You know, they just were sinning all the time. And you're going, oh my God, how could they be sinning? They're sinning. Sin is a mistake. They're thinking thoughts. They're trying to always pray to God. Please, God, don't let me think about all that craziness that's going on in the world, and I don't want to judge and this and that and the other thing. So they have even more of a hell going on. So saints are sinners who never gave up. So we get to be a saint someday, or maybe we don't want to be. I don't know. That again can be, diluted through the ages But here we are in the golden age, and we don't have to put labels, right? There are enough labels in marketing world. Makes us crazy. So we want to be able to bring our hands together. The hands have tremendous chakras in them. And that we do everything with our hands all day long. We're doing things with our hands, you know, shaking hands. So there's always things going on with our hands. So there's a tremendous amount of intelligence in the hands. And then bringing your hands together and activating that third eye area, the pituitary, the pineal. So you tap it here and just think of your head opening up like a cracking of an egg, you know, crack it open. And then you have this midbrain that says grab on to the highest vibrating consciousness. Because the midbrain is where the sushumna, that thin tube of light, is activated, all those chakras, these psycho-spiritual centers. And then it's culminating and it's just bursting with intelligence. And then you have access, because it's not just coming from, you know, just that halo effect. That halo effect is being bombarded by divine beings, just like if you lit up, you know, you had a light going, and wherever you are in the world, we just turned all the lights off in the world everywhere else. And then everybody who just had the light going, you would see these speckles of light or specks of light. And then collectively, it would look pretty amazing, right? So the divine is like, oh, there's a light. I'm going to go and talk to that light and make it to grow, right? Because that's what's on the spiritual path. It's not going to show up in full-on physical form unless it's an enlightened teacher like Dr. Pillai or any enlightened teachers on the earth plane, because they're here to guide souls. They're here to help them to grow internally, and then so they can have a great life. So you don't have to check out and go into an ashram or a monastery or a temple. You can do that just to feed your soul, get empowered. But then you want to come away from that and be able to be that every day, not just on a Sunday or Saturday or something like that. So you want to get some karma released today with Saturn's grace. And it falls on this day, which there is a window that opens up that says, it's called pradosham in the Hindu tradition or the Indian tradition. And it means to erase. You get a clean slate. You get to erase that which is going to come up and say, okay, this is the time where you're going to think these thoughts and it's going to be so disturbing, and then you're going to act on those thoughts and you're out of control. You can't even control yourself, right? So you can just wipe that out, and how you do that, it gets de-energized. You know, it won't be in your mind, so it won't matter. It won't materialize. So we're going to be diving into a consciousness that allows us to stay focused, to stay centered, keep feeling that energy. And no matter who's talking or what's going on, this is the practice. Blah, 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 blah. That's what everyone does in our lives. Blah, 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 blah. And we blah, 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 blah. And sometimes the blah, 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 it doesn't sync up. And then there's a conflict going on. And then there's an internal conflict. Why am I even thinking this? I don't want to think this. And it's just crazy, right? So that can get just wiped out. It can come to this state where you're just in total alignment and total peace. And when you have peace of mind, Pease, that peace of mind is so powerful. If you are with anyone who has peace of mind, they are unshakable. You just see like nothing shakes them. Nothing disturbs them. You could say anything to them and they will just be smiling because they're connecting with your soul. They're not worried about what's coming out of your mouth or if you're about to hit them. You know, they will move out of the way, or some divine being will come and prevent you from doing that to them. You just won't. You'll cry because you'll just feel this truth, and you'll feel this wisdom, and you will just have this knowingness, and you'll feel so much respect, and you'll just be in awe of them, and you'll want to be around them. They'll be like a magnet to you, and then you will just be receiving the grace that is flowing through them. So Saturn gives you a lot of grace, a lot of blessings. Don't diss Saturn. Don't be afraid of him. Because it's saying you're afraid of yourself and you're disrespecting yourself. What self? Your highest self. So get over your little self is what I'm saying. I'm just saying. And get into that more empowered self. So Saturn's going to do it. Pradosham is this window of time. It's a 13th moon. Happens on the waning and waxing cycles. Happens to be coming up to a full moon, so it's a waxing cycle. So, and on the waxing cycle, as it's getting bigger, think about waxing, getting bigger, and it will give you the ability to manifest, because we don't know how to manifest. We've been doing everything we can do, and it's not happening. So there's something preventing you, maybe energetically, or maybe just dysfunctional thinking, obsessive fear, anger, frustration, living in the past. That all creates this conflict. There's no peace of mind. There's no ability to tap into creative energies. So Pradosham is a great time to come together, and we're going to experience that, washing away or getting a fresh, clean slate, and not just washing, to get scrubbed up. We're going to empower ourselves. So we'll feel the energy of Saturn. If you notice I'm wearing black, that's his color, or dark blue is his color. You can tap into that energy. And then we also have coming up on Monday, or the 14th moon is going to be tomorrow, Sunday, and the 14th moon happens twice a month again. You can check out these 13th and 14th months in an AstroVed calendar. This is a downloaded copy. I'm waiting for my hard copy that I've ordered through AstroVed or Pillai Center. I can't remember which one it was, but it is the roadmap to your life as you're navigating day to day, week to week, month to month, and throughout the year. So 14th waxing moon is tomorrow on Sunday, and that is a time where you can bust obstacles and you get access to Ganesha's grace and blessings. And Ganesha is an elephant-headed being. He has a pot belly and he rides a mouse, and there's a whole mythology behind him. You can read about it. But an elephant has tremendous compassion. The neuroscientists have done studies, and they say that there's a von Economo neuron in the brain that is so abundant in elephants and some other animals as well. And it's similar to that which is in our brains, and that's what creates compassion. When we have compassion, we're so patient. We just know that we're being divinely guided. That we're not rushing here and there. We're not worrying. We have no anxiety. We're not angry. We're not upset. We're only full of joy because we've connected to the divine. And then the divine is saying, oh my God, I can use you. I can use you to help guide other people. Right? Because the divine wants to find people to be useful to all of humanity. So if you think you're on the spiritual path just for your own self, that might be true at the beginning, but then you will just be like everything else in life. Okay, been there, done that, now what? Right? And then the divine will tell you, ping you and say, this is what. And then you will know, because you'll be guided to do some charity, or you'll be guided to be a mentor for someone, or to help your community or get involved in some cause that's bigger and more important than your life, you know. So and then that will feed your soul as well. So there's different kind of spiritual check boxes that we as souls come into this lifetime after lifetime after lifetime to check off. So one is to get on the spiritual path. Oops, that was a delayed onset. That's okay. So you're on the spiritual path, but maybe you fall off because you're discouraged. Get back on. Okay, check it again. And then the next is to, you know, manifest a beautiful reality. So you want to have everything on the earth plane that you need to be comfortable. And then to help your family members and community and so on. And then maybe go for a big cause as well, if that's something that your soul is ready to do. And God only knows what it is. And then you will know too, because it will just be like, ping, there it is. And you'll be in alignment with it and you'll just do it. So don't stress out, oh, I should be doing this or should be doing that. Just put it in your consciousness. It's one of the check boxes that you've got to mark off, is to be charitable. Tithing came from that. Everything that you have, it's because of the divine. And if you haven't tithed, just start the practice. Start doing it. There's Tripura Foundation. It's so easy. You just click, point and click. Go to Tripura Foundation, choose something, $10 to feed a kid or to give phonemic intelligence to somebody. One of the programs or the projects that they're giving all these beautiful sounds and teachings that will change the brains of these people who were just destitute and they didn't have a hope in hell. So you can help them. And then too, if, you know, a lot of us feel bad because we didn't help the elderly in our families or the elderly in our communities because we're so busy with our lives. And then they passed away or they're, you know, shoved in a home somewhere. You know, you have to take care of all the generations. Whether you think, oh, I don't been there, done that. That's going to be you're going to go there to that time. That's going to be you. And what's the divine going to say? You had an opportunity to help. So the Tripura Foundation is a great way to tithe. It's so easy, right? Yeah, you can do it in your community, but it usually takes time and energy and so on. And there's a huge screening process. My God, if you want to go and volunteer in your community, they screen you like crazy. You know, are you a terrorist? What? No, I just want to help people. You know, but that might be terrorizing their soul. I don't know. So anyways, go there and practice tithing. That will grow. That will help you to understand where the divine has given you everything. And then you give back. You give a gift that keeps on giving, the gift of the divine. So that's another checkbox. So Saturn will make you to see your spiritual path is not separate from you, your life. And what are you doing with your time, your money, your energy? It doesn't have to be huge. It just starts, you just seed, you know. The seed is the mantra. You put the mantra into you. And you let that spin around and you let it grow. And then you do spiritual practices. You use spiritual technologies. Don't think you have to convert to some religion. Dr. Pillai it's great studying with Dr. Pillai and being on the path with him because he's pulling from every tradition across the board, across the globe. Past and present and even into the future. He's pulling that technology into us, into this world at this point in time, because we don't know what the future is going to hold, right? But we know if we are present to the moment, then that which we are aligned with will be the teaching that we need. So we have to trust that, because you come to Pillai Center too, it's like, there's so much, you know, or Ashramed, I don't know, oh my God, I feel so stressed out. What if I miss this? Am I going to just die? And, you know, yeah, you're going to die of a heart attack or anxiety, you know? So don't get into that state of being. And that's just figurative, please. You know, don't take me so serious. Don't be so serious on Saturday. lighten up. So we want to be able to access the energies of the teaching of the moment. So however you have shown up in that day and whatever comes to you, trust that that is what your soul wants it to grow and expand and to push knowledge up that feels right, that you feel aligned with. And then that's what gives you this ability to put into practice in your thinking, in your actions, in what you do, how you spend your money, how you spend your time, how you spend your energy, right? Oh my God, what an energy drain it has been for so many people who come to me for some guidance, and they just say, how do I clear my head of this family stuff and everything that I was immersed in over the holidays, traffic, mall, being in the spirit of Christmas was like being in a mosh pit. How do I get all that out of me? I still am thinking about it. And it's still making me to be anxious or making me to feel drained of my energy. So it's a good day you came today, because we're going to give everyone an experience of what it feels like to clear it all out, to get into a different headspace. So literally, we're going to put our head into a different space. And the space is within. So if you're not used to the meditation, don't worry about it, because you don't have to do anything. In fact, I don't do anything. I just stay open to the divine, and the divine is going to be expressed through whatever instructions or guidance is going to come. And with the grace and blessings of Dr. Pillai, who is here right now. He's a spiritual teacher. He is not some guy who's like a celebrity who has to be there for you to see them, to believe it. He's a spiritual teacher, so he's going to feed the soul. So he is going to be guiding us. Even right now, he's guiding us, because he's tuning into this time slot that says, I'm going to be here and checking out all the souls that have come here to get the food for the soul. And then Sutrita will just open her mouth and say something to be entertaining, perhaps, or maybe to satisfy some intellectual understanding of what's going on in this time period. But then we will, after our meditation, we will come out, and you can leave. You can come and go. It doesn't matter. You can leave now. And then listen later if you want. But we'll open it for open discussion and then shared experiences. And that's what helps people to stay motivated and on track, because a lot of us are in places that are quite remote. Even if we're in a busy city, populated city, we're not connected to spiritual people. And how do we recognize them, right? So you've come to the place that you recognize as your spiritual path at this point in time. And hopefully you'll continue on. But for now, we'll get into a state of receptivity where we're going to tap into the energy of the 12th, 13th, 14th moons to clear out karmas, congested energies, obstacles. And then we are going to come into the full moon, the 15th waxing moon, which is a waxing moon. And it will help us to have thoughts that will come in that will want us to create something, to enjoy abundance, to experience that energy of abundance, not stuff appearing, although that might happen out of nowhere. There's a miracle couch showed up that I've always wanted, or a car, or home, or a relationship, or I feel like I'm getting there. I feel like I'm more in alignment with that energy. That's what you want to do, is you want to align with that, because someone can give you the lotto, right? And if you don't know what to do with it, then you will just waste it. And you'll be so stressed out about it. So there's no enjoyment in that at all, and there's no intelligence in growing it. making it to be an investment and expand and so on, right? So you want to be in alignment with that energy that gives you fulfillment. So we're going to clear ourselves out and also fill us up with that intelligence that says, yeah, you deserve to be living an abundant life. You can just let go. Keep your eyes closed. You can stay in the meditation for as long as you'd like. Those of you who need to go, thank you for joining. We'll see you next time. Maybe you'll want to listen to the recording of the discussion, which is always lively and entertaining, and also a great information exchange. Have a happy new year. And we'll see you in the new year next week. So those of you who are going to stay, this is a time where you can unmute your mic on the screen in the lower left-hand corner. You just click on it. If you want to ask a question or share an experience, then if you're on the phone, you can just press *6. If you don't feel like voicing your question or sharing your experience audibly, then you can just post a note on the chat. Oh, someone here?
Yeah, hi, Sandhya here.
Hi, Sandhya, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, good.
Okay, I just want to let you know that, it's been a pleasure. I've been joining into these things, and it's so nice over the last 2 months.
So, Sandhya, can you come closer to your mic? I can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
A little bit. Are you closer to your mic? Is it the volume turned up?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, my volume is it better now? You want me to
Little bit.
Okay. So it's been wonderful experience with you, Suchitra, and it's been a lot of grace, during the past 2-3 months that I have joined the Wealth Rising program, and I want to thank you for all that, and wishing you a happy new year.
Oh, thank you, Sandhya, and I'm so happy that you're enjoying Wealth Rising. And it's a great community to be in. It's not just a course or a program, we're bathing in wealth consciousness, and then collectively we can absorb all that wealth consciousness more so than we could on our own doing our Shri Mrzi practices. So it's great to hear that you're having some good experiences in Wealth Rising, and you're enjoying this program. So wonderful to have you here, and Happy New Year to you too.
Yeah. I had one more question. Now we are all connected on the Facebook, right? And that's a lot of updates and people talking about their experience. So I think this program will be over in February. So what happens? Does that continue?
The Wealth Rising program?
No, those updates on the Facebook and stuff like that, does that continue, or is it going to will be moved out of that Facebook group?
Which Facebook group? I'm sorry, there are so many Facebook groups. I'm not sure which one you're referring to.
The Wealth Rising has a Facebook group, right?
Yeah, that'll continue because the program is continuing.
No, but after February, what happens?
You'll still be in the program.
Okay, great. Yeah, okay, thanks.
Yeah, and that Facebook group will remain because you'll be, all the programs offered through Pillai Center Academy are evergreen, so they're forever.
Oh,
so those communities that you have tapped into, just like this one with Powertime Practice, you can always access it forever, and those people will come and go and be there as well.
Wow, that's so nice. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Enjoy.
Thank you.
So some members are sharing here on chat. There's this, I'm on a full moon, but then I'm asking from which oh, there's a webcast that Dr. Pillai is doing, A New Destiny 2018. And there's, so that's a service or a program that is offered through Pillai Center. And so go check it out and see if it resonates with you. If you're confused about which, should I do the 6 Fire Labs, or should I do the webcast, or should I do this, should I do that? No one can tell you what to do. You have to do this from your gut. So bringing that energy into your gut, that's the creative intelligence that says this is the thing that is going to be right for you at this point in time. There will be a fervor. Yes, do this. You got to do this. You got to do this. And of course, because it's, hello, wake up. There's so much, there's a big party going on. Dr. Pillai is coming on to the webcast, and he's giving you the New Year's message. This is what is going to feed your soul for the new year. It's going to set the stage. So if anything, I would say do the webcast, because Dr. Pillai is going to guide your soul. And he's going to be in that vortex of new year. So your soul is going to get the message for the new year, your journey for the new year. And then the other different offerings, if you can fit it into your budget, do it. But then if you have to make choices or make selections, it's really up to you. You've got to feel what's right for you and just sit and meditate with it. And you don't have to do it very long, because then you'll be in your mind. So the highest intelligence is super quick. And how you will know is it will totally like be a ping. You know, you'll be like a Wi-Fi, you'll be totally connected. So I can't really answer your question. I'm sorry. Someone who has posted it privately to me, I won't mention your name, but it's something that we all kind of struggle with, or we juggle with. What is right for me? What should I do? So what I would recommend is get the message from Dr. Pillai, hot off the press, and it will impress, or you'll have a profound impact on your soul. And then that will be the teaching that guides you forward. And if you can't afford to do the others, because the more you feed your soul, you will get 1,000-fold in return. I can say this from my own experience over the past 20 plus years. Feeding your soul is a way better investment than to, feed your bank account and watch it come and go. You want to feed your bank account, but you got to energize it, bring intelligence from the soul. So you do both. I'm not saying ignore your bank account. Don't ignore your bank account, and put that credit card away. Put it to rest. Put it to bed give it a holiday, just for a little bit. Yes, someone else is here. I hear some noise. Or is that, if you're not talking, then maybe you want to be on mute. And if you want to say something, hi Cecilia, how are you?
Hello.
How are you feeling today?
Gott. Ja, dat is goed. Hello.
Cecilia?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes. You hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes. Thank you. I feel better.
Oh, good.
Yes, I feel better. It's now I will stay at the hospital 3 days or 2 days or 3 days more, and I can go home. And well, I have to have confidence in the future.
Absolutely. And that's, for those people who are listening to Cecilia and I have a little conversation, Cecilia shared that she had an injury and she was hospitalized, and it's affecting her career. So that's what happens. The divine is going to deliver to us something that shakes us up and it gets us out of our old way of being. It doesn't mean that we're going to have to do something completely new. We're just going to have to trust that the divine is going to create this new confidence, this new self, the highest self-confidence. And then that is what is going to guide us and help to deliver us the gifts that we are about to receive. So don't look at an injury or surgery or as a setback and it's going to cause anxiety, because that is the limited way of looking at it. You want to go to the unlimited. So keep your energy up, keep your thinking up, and keep that feeling inside of you. Okay, everything happens for a reason, and it's not a philosophy. There is something that's happening right now inside of me, and it's making me to be still, to be confined to a bed or to my home where I'm not able to run around. And that is a gift from the divine, to just immerse yourself in your spiritual practices and be thankful for everything that you have. We're so busy in our lives that we're not tapping into those stop and smell the roses moments, because in the smelling of the rose, you connect to the divine, right? So the divine is going to say, I'm keeping you still, because you need to fill yourself up. You need to revitalize. You need to get a higher intelligence coming in, or to tap into a higher intelligence and feel that movement, that dance. So Cecilia is a dancer. And so the dancing has to be that which is that stillness of the divine. And it's almost perfect timing, Cecilia, because the Nataraj is the dancing Shiva, and he's dancing and there's a circle of fire around him. Mm-hmm. And so look up on the internet, everyone, the Nataraj, Nataraj, Nataraj. Yeah. And that dancing is actually the dancing of the divine within us, but we don't feel that dance because it's not a moving dance. Mm-hmm. It's a still dance, but the energy is that which is like so nuclear, so powerful, so explosive, so atomic, so tremendous. It can make you to do things that you just never thought were possible. So that intelligence has to dance within us. And we have to stop moving and going everywhere and thinking outside. We go inside. So the dancing Shiva is being propitiated on New Year's Day on the full moon. So really, as you're coming home and you're going to be sitting and doing your practices and being grateful, and just say, okay, I'm learning a different dance. And now I'm going to be able to bring this intelligence into me to heal my body, to heal my mind, to open up opportunities for me at this point, this age and stage, where maybe I need to do things with more wisdom and intelligence.
Yeah. I am now, I think I have to learn more trust.
That's what trust is. Trust is natural, right?
Yes.
If we have to trust, then we've lost touch with that. And people say, well, so many people, I don't trust them, blah, blah, blah. There's 7 billion people on the planet, so you don't trust a few. Who cares? You know, mm-hmm. you just tap into the energy of trust, and every moment is like you're looking at it with wonder and awe. You're not being naive. The trust is truth. So you're aligning with the truth. That dance is happening, and you will either dance towards something that is going to have a beautiful dance, or you're going to dance towards something that's going to step on your toes and it's going to cause you frustration and say, no, I've been there, done that.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm very grateful that I am has this time for thinking and to see the webcast and to hear Dr. Pillai and to be with the group.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Well, thank you so much for joining and for speaking, because yesterday you were posting a note on the chat.
Yeah.
So it's nice to hear your voice, and God bless you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
You
Cecilia.
all, everything, all, I place you, all, everybody there. Thank
Yeah, and everybody is praying for you. There were so many prayers posted on the chat last night, so during the Wealth Rising Fire Lab. So that those blessings are coming to you, whether you know who it's coming from or not, it doesn't matter. When other people pray to you, it's almost better that they don't know you, because it's so pure. They just are sending this heartfelt compassion out to you. There's no, there's nothing that you have to give back. So
you.
enjoy.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, Cecilia.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So someone is saying here on the chat, what is the difference between chanting and meditating? Which is stronger? Which is stronger to get in contact with the divine? Can you type that word, Nat? Oh, Dancing Shiva, Nataraj. Yeah, I'll type it, and I'll also talk. So what is the difference between chanting or meditating? So sometimes we have to vocalize, right? So we have to get this throat chakra unstuck. And a lot of us, we hold back words. We cannot tell our boss what we truly think. We cannot tell our coworkers what we truly think. We cannot tell our family members, our friends, anyone in life what we truly think, because that has gotten us into trouble through misinterpretation, misunderstanding, and so on, miscommunication. And you never tell anyone anything straight to the face, because even if it is the truth, what's the saying? It cuts like a knife. It hurts. Right? So we don't want to hurt anyone, even with the truth. So that's why truth is your spiritual connection. It's what you trust in. And then that will tell you the story of your life and how you are reacting and responding. So you want to clear out that which you cannot speak aloud, right? Even when you're speaking to yourself in your own mind through a memory or thinking, what happens? You get all choked up. So that's why they say the karma is in the throat, right? And if you think of it elementally, the na is for the earth. It's lower down in the lowest chakra. Then it becomes less solid and more flowing. The next chakra is water. So we need the water to hydrate the earth so things can grow. And then we can, then as the water evaporates through the heat, the connection to the fire and the connection to the earth and the water, when the sun is beating on it, things can heat up and it gets steamy, right? So you have the fire energy, the fire in the heart, the heart's desire burning with desire. So that chakra in the heart center in the chest is the heat, the fire. And then fire is form, but it's form, you can't grab it, right? It's formless than form. So then as it goes up, it goes into the air. You need the air to keep the fire going, right? So the air is that which you cannot see. And you can't hear it sometimes if the wind isn't blowing. And then there's the subtle air, the prana, the life force in the throat. When we get sick, where do we get sick? Here first, right? So that is a chakra that is the way to the divine. So we want to clear all that out, to purify it. So everything that has happened below the neck, or actually below here, right? Because the throat and the mouth, the tongue, those all have lots of chakras. These are just main chakras, the psycho-spiritual centers, that collect garbage and then collect good stuff too, but the garbage gets in the way. So we want to clear all that out energetically. And so then that, as soon as it's clear and everything else underneath is clear, you're just like this open. You're open to the space where all the divine beings are. And then there's way more intelligence in the space and things can happen that much faster. So the brain gets activated, the crown chakra. And then that's where you have the dazzling, beautiful halo. Even celebrities or stars, they have this sparkle and, you know, everybody's in awe. They don't know what to say to them, you know, because they're just locked in to this star quality, this divinity that is everyone's birthright, but they've just been able to tap into creative principle. And maybe as their path that they're going to choose to tread on. But as we've seen with celebrities, it's not an easy path, right? You don't have a private life at all. You're subject to everyone else. So we want that star quality to be divine quality, and however that is expressed is how it's going to show up in our life. And no one can live our life, and no one is going to live our life, and no one is going to tell us how to live our life. We have to, they can give us some suggestions and maybe we can have mentors, but really we got to do the thing. So if you're coming here and saying, well, which mantra is for me to, you know, get rid of all these problems and get what I want? There's about 1,000 million mantras, meditations. That's why we have teachers, because they will just be able to tap into the energy. And then that is your soul food. And then that will help to guide you moving forward. Whether you come and go, that's totally up to you. Nobody has a rope tied to your ankle. Get back here. Although you'll feel like, I don't want to leave. It's so fun. Especially with the internet, we get to connect with everyone around the world. And it's so much easier than having to go somewhere and meet. So Andrea is saying, my whole stomach or belly on fire, really on fire. Is that the divine being radiating? Yes. If you don't have fire in your belly, what's going to happen? You just won't be fired up about anything. What's your belly? That's your digestion. It gets rid of all the toxins and helps you to absorb all the nutrients. So you want to fire that up to make it working properly. And then when it's fired up, then that is the area of creation, right? That's where a baby gets created, right? Not only gets created, but it sustains in there for quite a while, right? So that is a tremendous amount of miracle energy, because even to have a healthy baby be born is a miracle, right? So you want to keep cooking with that energy. Focus on that creative principle. That chakra is creative energy. And put Shreem Razi in your belly and watch your money grow. Regarding the tarpanum, what if I don't have darba grass or black sesame seeds? Is it okay with water and a coin and white raw rice? Okay, so let's just get really simple about tarpanum. All you need is the black sesame seeds and then white rice powder, or you can use the white rice grains. And the tarpanum, for those of you who don't know, is that which you feed the ancestors on a daily basis between sunrise and sunset. Go on to Astrovet or Pillai Center blog or Astrovet blog and read all about it, tarpanum. And everyone should do it like they would brush their teeth every day. You do your tarpanum practice. Why? Because you share the souls of your ancestors' DNA. The DNA of the souls of your ancestors. The souls of your ancestors' DNA. So the DNA at the soul level and at the body and in your physiology and in all the way you look, right? The way you present yourself. the way you think. You think, as Dr. Pillai says, you think your genes think. And they're pumping in thoughts into you all the time. They get activated. So you want to feed the ancestors, and all you need is like a very small, like a coin size amount in your palm of your right hand, and then you just put that little rice powder and then a few black sesame seeds. That's all you need. The other stuff is, you know, dressing it up. It's nice, and it does have significance, so don't ignore it if you can get access to it. But don't stress out if you can't. You don't need all the bells and whistles. The God knows what you can and cannot do. So just make an effort to have those black sesame seeds and the white rice powder. If you have a coin, that's fine, because you also want to give them that which they will be able to use wherever their soul is evolving at this point in time. Someone there?
No.
Andrea?
No.
Did you want to say something? Oh. Okay. Jeremy says again for tarpanum, black sesame seeds and white rice grains. Doesn't have to be cooked, just a few. And then, or it can be white rice powder. Dia is saying, in the years that I've been learning about astrology, and the different planetary rulers and such, I have still found it hard to accept and blame Saturn for negative events in my life. Okay, we don't want to blame anybody for anything, right? But as Dr. Pillai says, if things aren't happening, you can blame it on the planets. Now, why do we say that? Because these planets are not just balls in the sky. They're not just celestial objects. They have a consciousness. If you Google it and put Saturn and sounds of Saturn, the planet Saturn, NASA or some space, you can choose one of those links that you can actually hear the vibration or the music of Saturn and all the planets. So these planets have sound quality resonating, vibrating out of them. It's a consciousness, and they're beaming just like the moon does on our head and our mind, just like the sun does. If we don't see the sun for some time, we get so depressed, right? So there's an intelligent exchange between you and the planets. Now, the ancient seers, they knew. They didn't have internet. They didn't have any knowledge. They didn't have science and technology like we do now. So they just would see lights, and they would hear sounds, and then they would get mantras from these celestial beings. And then that's how they communicated. And then they saw in, their third eye was opened, and they saw into their bodies. Okay, this Saturn is in the sky, in the night sky, but I also feel the presence of that intelligence or energy within me. So Saturn will he will impact your skeletal. So you can break a bone, because he wants you to slow down. Read the mythology of Saturn. We talked about it last week. The Greatness of Saturn is a fabulous book by Svoboda. And Robert Svoboda, and he gives you the lowdown on all the planets, but it's all based around who is the greatest of them all. And if you look at the length of time that each planet transits an astrological sign, Saturn is the longest. It's 2.5 years that it takes to go through a window of time. And he needs that to make you to stop and smell the roses, get on your spiritual path. And the reason we suffer is because we kick and scream, going after our worldly pursuits without the blessings coming through the divine. Yeah, I'll get there. And Saturn will say, no, I will trip you up. I will make you to fall. He will take you from high heights and he will crush you, make you to get down to your knees. And a lot of us have experienced that, where something just totally got taken away, if not everything, right? Relationships, family doesn't talk to you. There's so much conflict. The job, you can't get a promotion if you paid them. Here, I'll pay you to work here. Just give me a promotion. I deserve it. So that's where you can't blame it, but you have to look at how this being is impacting your life. And you will see it in the form of delays. If it's impacting it in a negative way, it will be in the form of delays or struggles. There's just constant chronic challenges in relationship, in your workplace, in your ability to go out into the world and have a good cause and be part of a good cause. Why? Because Saturn rules naturally the sign of Capricorn and Aquarius. And those are the 10th and 11th houses in the zodiac. And the 10th and 11th houses of the zodiac are all about how we put into practice. So what is our path in life? What kind of work do we do? What is our purpose? So Saturn can make you to be struggling with your purpose. It can take away jobs, or it can take away relationships that are not in alignment with your true purpose. So you can kind of blame it on Saturn if you're not paying attention to what Saturn is trying to tell you. And it does it for 2.5 years. So there can be pain and agony for 2.5 years if you don't have a look. And an astrologer is someone who can look in to your chart and they can say, oh, this is the play of Saturn. Is why why delays are there, why struggles are there, and so on. So and then you don't just say, oh, well, then I just have to just lie down and die for those 2.5 years. No, then you, just like we did, you get on your spiritual path and you get that grace flowing, you feel that connection, and that's Saturn. He's making everything to come into your Wi-Fi connection with your divine self, your highest self. And when you just do this, you're in prayer all the time. Even when you're doing your everyday life, you're so grateful. You're slowing down the mind that's just all over the place, jumping like a monkey and just being so silly and childish and doesn't want to get serious about life and doesn't want to put into practice what you need to do to think about your future, to have a future, right? So it's not about blame. It's about, you got to see where the struggle is, and then you can say, well, I'll blame it on Saturn, or we'll just say, okay, that's Saturn there, but then I have to do something about it. Is there someone who wants to say something?
Not me.
Andrea?
No.
Okay, do you want to just mute your mic? You keep
Not
on
me.
muting.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. You're muted. Oh, you're unmuted now. Okay, you're good. You're muted. Okay, so then there's someone who is saying, the This is the same person. Having grown up as a Baptist Christian, I learned as a young child that Satan was the creator of my troubles.
How do I get out of this?
Andrea, did you want to say something, Andrea? You keep coming on.
Yeah, I'm trying to get off.
Okay, so don't do anything. I'm going to mute you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, great. So when we go back to our childhood, what do? Or we just go back to yesterday, or we go back to 1 hour ago. What are we doing? We're trying to relive that. We have a memory of it, and that bombards our thoughts. And we waste so much time and energy. It's not that we don't want to have memories, but select the memories that are going to be fulfilling and rewarding. Because as a child, you didn't know anything. You didn't have any experience. So what? Now you're not a child anymore. But that inner child is fallen off its swing, and it wants to be right somehow. And that is where the ego is like, let me take over. And then you're just like repeating the past, reacting from the past, keeping all that congested energy in you. And when you can just free it up and forget about it, just move it forward, get it out of the way, forward, fast forward to the future, right? And it's not that I'm not being compassionate, but we don't have much time left in life to focus on that which is going to be fulfilling and rewarding. Even if you're a 5-year-old listening to this, you don't have much time. Trust me, take it from a 50+ person. If I could rewind and do everything again as a 5-year-old, I would be just putting all these phonemic intelligence mantras, everything into my everyday life. So, because that is the consciousness of the divine that is going to use me as a tool to act out in a way that is going to be impacting more than just this little person's life, right? I don't want to come back again and have to do this all over. And if I have to, there better be more light and more intelligence. That's all I'm saying. So throw out Satan, throw out everything else. Yes, there are dark forces. On your spiritual path, we've all had those dark nights of the soul where we're just like, forget it. This is such a joke. I don't even get it anymore. I'm so frustrated. That is a satanic force, if you want to call it that. There are negative forces, and you can Google that too, and it will just spin your head. All the masters have talked about it. That's why they want you to just go for the light. Don't go for the dark. It's such a waste of time. But maybe it's there so you will know what the light is. Just don't indulge in it. Yes. So then this person goes along and says, I love Saturn and Saturdays. Because Saturn has made you to get focused on your spiritual path. Know what is good and not good for you. This is a waste of time if it's not good for you. Don't waste your time and money and energy. Just leave it. You don't have to go down that alleyway. You already know. Eeg. I don't like it. It's not that you're paranoid. It's just, you just know. So why go and dive into that some more? And then you will be in wisdom, which is there's right and wrong, but then you're not going on one side or the other. If, say, for example, a child went down that alley, you're going to go run after that child and go get that child. Get that child out of the alley, right? So you have to be able to navigate in life knowing that the divine is going to tell you how to act and react, because you don't want to react and do the same thing over and over again. You're going to react in a way that it's going to be temporary, in and out, right? So hopefully that was helpful in responding to your astrology and Saturn. We're going to get more into Saturn. Saturn is just going to be pinging us on power time practice. So we don't know what he wants us to know, but sounds like he's giving us some clues. And if you want to jump ahead, just go participate in AstroVet or Pillai Center services that are helping you to connect with Saturn, because Saturn is going to get your purpose. If you don't know what your purpose is and you're doing the wrong job, or the job you're doing is just for a paycheck, and that you can't get ahead in the dead end, or it's a dark alley every day, go get an astrology consultation. If they say, okay, Saturn, whoa, that's fine. They're just giving you the alert, the heads up. And then you just go and see what resonates with you and start doing fire labs to Saturn. Start getting in alignment with Saturn, and you'll see your whole career change. And then also your outlook on humanity will change as well. Which mantra is best for karma removal? Tirna Lakantam or Tirna Lakantam Makaral Shivaya Nama? Okay, so Tirna Lakantam is Tiru Nila means blue, and then Kantam means throat. Tiru is reverence, the highest reverence. So you're saying to your throat, get the blue light in there. It's the kind of light that absorbs poison. So you can just say Tiru Nila Kantam, or you don't even have to say it because that's like a tongue twister. You can listen to it. Or just imagine the blue light and go say, God, oh my God, I don't remember, but I know there's a blue light. Just do laser surgery, okay? And then that intelligence will wake up inside of you, and then you can go on to Pillai Center and download the audio, or you can go on to YouTube, it's free. You can listen to Tirna Lakantam. Makaro Shivaya Nama. Makaro Shiva is a form of Shiva, that there's a temple and there's a whole story to that. But what it is essentially is it's for really stubborn, stuck karma that is just, it's overloading you. So it's like an avalanche just happened and you can't get out of it. You know that the snow shovel or the guys are going to come, but it's taking way too long. Like you got to breathe, right? So the Makaro Shiva is a form of Shiva that will burst a hole through the big snow avalanche or the washout or whatever they call those earthquakes and things like that. So it's like it's a time in your life, it's very turbulent, it's very, you can't find a way out and you're just groping, you're grasping, you're so stressed out. Now, is there an actual avalanche? No, everything is perceived, right? So Makaro Shiva will, that sound, along with Tirna Lakantam or separately, it will just burst that consciousness. It will give you a breakthrough. It will burst you through so you can get air until the other things can get cleared away. Yeah, and Tirna Lakantam Makaro Shivaya, yeah, it accelerates. So, because if you can breathe, then you know you're not trapped, right? So I can go now. I can yell or get some support. People are saying, I love to be a support of Tripura Foundation. Thanks for the reminder. Yeah, we need to be reminded because it's like, I love being charitable, but I forget. I forget to go and do that. Or someone will say, oh, I'm going to do some food feeding. And I'm like, oh man, I don't have the time in my schedule. You know, God bless you. Can you, can I do anything to contribute, right? And so this is why Tripura is so great. Go read about it. Go on to Tripura and your soul will get fed. Even if you just read it, your soul will get fed. And then what you'll find is you'll just want to contribute to those who cannot. They don't have a hope in hell. Trust me, I've seen these kids. Well, they're not kids anymore. You know, they're in their 20s now, their 30s now. You know, some of the little ones who came up through Tripura Foundation, and they are amazing. They've taught their communities so much just by giving them the phonemic intelligence and giving them a snack and helping them to get to school. That's what a few bucks a month did. And that, to me, is like, wow, that's such a blessing. And when you go and see these kids or you see the elderly, that those programs are offered through Tripura, you know, for a lot of us where we didn't have that time to pay attention to the elderly And the elderly programs are there. So it kind of feeds your soul, that kind of guilt or, oh, I wish I would have, you know, that feeds you at the level of the soul and takes away that negativity that's associated with frustration or guilt or sadness or whatever it is that you're struggling with, because you're doing something for an elderly person. And that elderly person is being pinged at the level of the soul, and they're blessing you. That's why we want to help our elders, so because they will bless us. They've been around the block, and they're ready to go to that higher state of consciousness where the physical is no longer, right? It's no longer useful in this world and in other worlds. So the soul is just burning with intelligence and blessings to be bestowed upon us. So helping the elderly through Torpora is nice too. Okay, I'm looking at the, oh, someone is saying I carved out today time to do lots of karma busting rituals. I ended up getting my moon cycle, so I won't physically do the act. Yeah, when you have your period or you're on your menstrual cycle, it's not a good idea to do rituals. So you don't have to do that, but you certainly can do mantras. You can listen to mantras, you can chant, you can meditate, you can dive into your spiritual practice in that way. And that is a great practice, because you want to be able to not be distracted by doing things, you know, like flower petal offerings or cutting lines and so on, coconut busting, that we talk about karma busting technology, or pouring milk on the Shiva Lingam. You know, you do that today if you don't have your monthly cycle. So that when you're doing all these kinds of things, you can be distracted. But when you're meditating and chanting, you have to really focus and go internally and get beyond all that pain and all that why me, right? You just say, okay, this is a really empowered time to connect with this goddess energy in me. And it's blood is the life-giving force. So pour the mantras into that blood that's going through your body, recycling, and use that to inspire you. Somebody's saying about the 108 repetitions. Every time you reach 108 or 1080 or 1,000 or 1,000,008 or whatever it is, you are breaking through barriers of consciousness. So that's what the mantra does. It grows and grows, and each time you say it, it gets more speed, it gets more energy, it gets more intelligence, and bursts through that which we cannot burst through. So once it bursts through that level of intelligence, and then it's kind of like you've got this halo, right? They've done it gazillions of times, mantras and prayers and so on, spiritual practices. So the energy is just radiating out, so nothing can penetrate it. So keep doing that 108, hit that mark, and that will bust through a layer that you will never go back to. The memory can be there, but you won't be attached to it. So keep doing it.
Can you expand a little bit on that? So you taught me that when I do the Shin Brazi and it breaks through the consciousness, poverty mind, so wealth consciousness. What about when I'm doing it for protection, when I'm chanting the mantra to the deity for protection, when I'm doing it? I can't wrap my head around that. I can open up to the wealth consciousness, I understand that, but when I'm chanting to the deity for protection, how does that work?
Yeah, so here's the thing, and what's your name, S?
Hi, Sunny, sorry.
Hi, Sunny. Oh, so sunny, my whole face just lit up. I like the sun. So this question is, okay, I'm doing the mantra and I'm resonating with wealth consciousness mantra. I love it. The goddess is coming in and dancing. But the protection mantras, or maybe karma busting, where the quality is like destroying. I can't relate to that. Don't worry about it. Just allow the mantra, which is mantra. So man is mind. Tra comes from the word to protect. So you're protecting the mind from disturbing your brain so that you don't take in useless information. So just know that the sounds to protect you, you may not feel anything, you may not understand it, but it's like you're outside with your hood on and the snow is falling and you're not going, is the snow falling on my head? I don't feel it, right? Until you take the hood off and shake the snow off, right? So don't try to think about what it's doing or not doing, because the moment you think, then you are going to negate the whole process. Not that you're going to do anything bad, it's just that when we're thinking, then we're in karma. So why be in that? Just know, if I'm chanting this mantra, at some point it's going to reveal something to me. You can't control nature. Right? You just, at some point, I'm going to understand that there was a lot of snow. I just took the hood off of me and all the snow fell. But then when I was walking, I didn't know how much was there.
Okay, so when I do it, I know it's working. I feel it. I've seen things. So just don't try to understand it with my logical mind. Just know it's working and move on. Yeah,
because the logical mind is only a part of it. It's only a ration of it. It's rational, right? So it's only a ration of what is actually happening. It's only partial. So you just note to self, okay, there's something going on. But as you go along, Sunny and everyone else, even if you've been on the path for a long time, there will be moments where you feel nothing. You don't even feel connected to the goddess. You don't feel connected to anything. And all you feel connected to is like protection mantras and meditations. That's the divine wants to do what it wants to do with you. But does it mean you stop getting wealth consciousness? No, you just focus more on security guard consciousness. So hopefully that's helpful, Sunny. Thanks, it's a good question. Shweta's saying mantra writing, is it good to write Tirni Lakanta Makro Shivaya Namah versus Srimrazi today? Write both. Or one, whatever you, here's the thing, you guys. Do what's natural for you. Just because it's 10 degrees below, 10 degrees Celsius below zero, and it's snowing and there's like a foot of snow, I will just get my boots on and go out. And just go in the snow, dress warm. But then will I go out for the whole day? Probably not. I'm going to do what's natural for me. Although otherwise I'll be exhausted. Unless, of course, I'm chanting. Maybe I could walk a little further. Or maybe I will not even feel like going out because I just want to stay in and be cozy. Right? Do what's natural for you. So if you feel like at this point I need to do Tirni Lakanta Makro Shivaya Namah. At this point I need to do Srimrazi. Because guess what? They are knocking on your consciousness. The mantra is the being. The mantra is the being. The being is consciousness. It is part of you and part of everything. So if it's knocking at your door of your mind and saying, or brain, and saying, hey, I want to come and play. I want to talk to you. I want you to talk to me. I want you to align with me. And if it's Srimrazi all the way, great, because Srimrazi still will get rid of the karma. But there might be points where like, oh, I just need to do Tirni Lakanta Makro Shivaya Namah. Someone is saying, I'm getting really close to a big life goal and suddenly I'm faced with fear and shame, and this feeling is that my karma is going to topple on me. I'm so close to a life-changing experience. That's what happens to a lot of us. We just get there and then we feel this experience where it says you don't deserve it, or it's not going to happen, or you're not going to get it, and you don't even get it. because the consciousness that you're grabbing onto is so powerful and so overwhelming that you actually manifest that. So what I would look into is if you have fear and shame and so on, and you've got these big life goals and you're really close, then get as much divine support as you can. Get a astrology consultation. And you go to the astrologer, they don't judge you. They just want to look at, okay, what's troubling you and how can I help you, right? And then they will say, this is what you have to do to get rid of that pattern of behavior that is obsessive, and it just won't go away and allow you to have that rewarding life and reach your goals. Life-changing experience will either be good or not so good. So, you know, it's like it's your choice. You want to go in blindly or with your own ego-driven way of doing things, or do you want to go with divine insights and intelligence and then also some support? It's up to you. It's your life. Everybody has to experience their own lessons, because even people say to me, I love Saturn. It's just, you know, grinding me down to the ground. And I'm like, oh God, I'd rather pray and get benefits. But anyways, that's what they like. So who am I to say? And then too, you know, if you want to reach out and maybe you're not into astrology or you don't understand it or whatever, then just send an email to sucharita@PillaiCenter.com and we'll get together and have a one-to-one coaching. We'll figure out what's going on with you, and then I can provide guidance. No, so, was it the same person that posted that? Oh, same person. Okay, I made an exchange agreement with you. So then they had a breakthrough. They had a breakthrough. So people are writing private to me. So I'm sorry, I'm listening. But this is what happens: is that we're on the brink. And we're just about to have a breakthrough, and then something pulls us back. And that's why I said, it might be your genes. It could be your lineage that says, you have to pay for the sins of the father. And you're going, what? They're dead, you know, or grandfather. And it's like, oh my God, that was a pattern that persisted. And I see it through the lineage, or your mother or grandmother, whatever, paternal or maternal sides of the family. Right? The ancestors who have gone, they can be coming in and say, you think so, right? So that's why we want to do our tarpanam like brushing our teeth every day. Just get it into you. Get that practice into you every day. That will empower you and it will bless them. Get out of here. Go to high heights. When you go to higher heights, then you won't care about the rise and fall of whatever I'm doing. You won't even want to be in this earth plane because it's so slow moving. So you want to be in higher realms, and then when you're in higher realms, you're so compassionate and you just want to bless all your descendants. So get that into you. Yes, you write me an email, Sucharita@Pillai Center. I will just post it here so everyone knows. You're welcome. So you can just write, and then we will set up a call together, because in email, things can be like misinterpreted and so on. So sometimes I can just give, okay, this is what you can do, you know, give you some guidance. But if it's something in your life that you're going through and you want to know the best support or get the best insights for you at this point in time, then we can have a call together. And then I can share with you some insights that might be okay for you. Or it might be that get this, you know, get into this program or do more of this spiritual practice that will help to support you and keep you focused on your goal and keep you manifesting. We all need encouragement. I used to say to Dr. Pillai in the beginning, where there was nobody, you know, only a few of us were studying with him. And we were from all over the place. And so I would just come back to Canada after seeing him at a small gathering in the US or in India or somewhere in the travels, Europe. And I would just be like, okay, now what? And so I said to him, you know, when I found out about Sate, the 7.5 years of Saturn, and then all the rest of the astrology was coming to the fore. I'm like, oh my God, don't let anybody not have support or mentoring, because this is a double-edged sword path, you know, but how do we navigate? And he just said, well, I won't be there. And I was like, oh man, like that is like the worst thing to say to a student who's like almost bawling their head off. And then he just looked at me and he said, but you will be. And I was like, okay, that's awesome. And so here we are, fast forward all these years later. And I can share with everyone, honestly, that I've been through, and I continue to do the spiritual practices and to participate in the services, because that is what's feeding the soul. This is the soul food. And it's not, you don't have to have, you know, faith in it, in the religious way that we were brought up in. You know, if you believe in something else, then, you know, God will strike you down or whatever. You know, it's not my God better than your God. It's a spiritual technology that feeds the soul. That's all I say. Yeah, so I can go into a church, I can go into a temple, I can go to a mosque, I can go into nature, I can go and talk to anybody and then resonate at that level of the soul. Not in a bragging right kind of way. It's like, wow, this is so divine. This is what being spiritual is. It's just moving and being inspired by every situation, regardless of what it looks like. Chandrika, you can just use the scroll on the chat, but I'll write it again. Chandrika is asking for my email ID. Or any of the questions you want to look at what people are writing. Oh, you know why? Because I wrote it on someone else's private chat. So sorry about that, Chandrika. You're the best. Okay, sucharit.pillaiCenter.com. Andrew is saying Sucharit is chicken soul food power time. God bless everybody. All right, so I think we've come to be fulfilled for today. At least I feel full of something. And then I have to get on and do another call. So I want to make sure that everybody's happy. And for today, just go, you can listen to the recording later on and then do the meditation if you want. It's already there. You're logged on now. You're logged into the energy of these next few days. So that is going to ping you, and listen to that, and listen to that guidance, that inner knowing, that intuition that is into it. And then that will set you on the track of what you need to pull out of your practice. So you don't have to do everything like a list, a to-do list. God, we have enough of that every day, and we never get it done anyway. So you think it's going to be any different on your spiritual path? It's not, because you are you. So you just do what the divine is pulling you to do, but immerse yourself in it. And don't go, oh my God, it's almost over. Okay, I got to get going. You know, then you're just stressing yourself out. You want to be in a stream of consciousness, even if you're just sitting there and you're just being like a stunned banana. And something is coming. It's filling your eyes. It's filling you. Feel that. And then if a mantra comes, a mantra comes. And then if you want to trigger a mantra, then go trigger one. All right. Wishing you all the best. Have a happy, blessed, fulfilling start to the new year. Please tap into the energy, the blessings of Dr. Pillai in the New Year's webcast if you can. That would be my first, on the top of the list to do, because then it sets the stage for you to move forward if that's all you can afford at this point in time. If you can afford or budget the other offerings, then trust. Put put your hands together and trust that that is going to be, whatever you do is going to be the food for your soul. And that will pay you back in, not even that, it's going to be millions. You have the life of a millionaire, as Dr. Pillai used to share. Because even millionaires or billionaires are totally stressed out. And you can't buy that peace. You can't buy that knowingness that everything is taken care of. The divine is doing everything. And I'm just getting to benefit from all of it. Yes, I'm going to go through my roller coaster, but I'm not going to be scared out of my mind because the divine is guiding me. The guidance there is unshakable. All right. So God bless you all. Happy holidays for the rest of, if those of you who are traveling, be safe, be alert, do your mantras, and that will protect you. All right. And we'll see you next time. God bless.